Hey y'all, what is up? Happy MLK Day. I hope you are having a wonderful 3-day weekend, that you've had time to get lots of rest and to just, rejuvenate yourself and before you go into this week, especially since it's going to be a short week. After a long break, I always end up, quite honestly, not wanting to do no work the next day because I feel like I should just be on vacation now. So, I hope that you will take some time today on this day of service, many call it, but for us Black folks, it is a day of rest. So I hope you'll take some time today to get some rest because I certainly will be doing that. But thank you for joining me for another State of Black Motherhood talk. I'm really excited to continue doing these. This has really been like a highlight of my week every week. So I just really appreciate that y'all are here, that we are talking and having these conversations. Don't forget to go on in the comments and say something if you have something to say. I would love to hear your feedback and all that jazz. One of the beautiful things about doing this series is that I'm really just doing this because it's something I want to do. Of course, I always got plans because, sis, what you doing if you ain't got no plans? I always got plans, but I initially put this out there because I just wanted to do something. I just wanted to have some time and space to talk about my journey of mompreneurship. And of course, when the stars align, when you know the rhythms of your life, when you understand where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, stuff happens. Stuff happens for you. And one of the beautiful things that has happened as a result of this is when I put it out there, Kidsburg reached out and asked if they could start sharing and also if they could sponsor the series. So we have a series sponsor. So if you get a chance, make sure you go on over to kidsburg.org and show some love. They have all kinds of articles over there focusing on motherhood, being a kid in the Pittsburgh region. If you're looking for stuff to do with your kids, if you're just looking to get the download on what programs exist for kids in this region, trust me, you can find it on Kidsburg. They have a vast online library of kid stuff right here in Pittsburgh. So make sure you check them out. Thank y'all for sponsoring. We appreciate y'all because I feel like this is important and I'm really excited to share with y'all. So if you don't know me, my name is Muffy Mendoza and I'm the founder and CEO of Brown Mamas. We are an organization that works on expanding social capital, providing positive socialization opportunities for, and amplifying the voices of Black mothers in Pittsburgh and beyond. And I love the work I do. Has it stressed me out from time to time? Yes, it has indeed. But I love what I do. And I'm so grateful to have been able to take this journey of first time, first generation entrepreneurship. It has been a crazy journey, let me tell you, but I'm so grateful for it. And I'm so grateful for you for being here. So, what are we talking about this week? Y'all know every Monday at 12, I've been going live. I still got 2 more episodes left. So we still got 2 more sessions today. But dead smack in the middle, of course, in the middle, we are going to be talking about balance. And when I first started thinking about this concept of balance, because I am a person who thinks deeply on the spiritual things of life, I wanted to first find out like what is representative of balance in terms of universal concepts. And I'm studying astrology right now because I love numerology, and numerology and astrology are so closely related. That was the next natural step. And so I started studying just astrology and balance and which one of the zodiacs or signs really represent balance. And I came up with the sign of Libra, which was really eye opening because what I like to do is I like to spend time looking at things because for me, looking at things, looking at shapes, looking at the way things represent themselves physically, I'm able to draw intuitively from that. And so first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to share, well, let me make sure I can find it. I'm going to share my screen really quickly because I want to show you guys a picture of the Libra zodiac sign or the image that is associated with Libra. So let me see, because I have it in my notes. But let me see if I can make this picture bigger for y'all. Oh, she's really pretty. I think I'm gonna show y'all her just because she's so pretty. Oh, but she doesn't have the sword. So we need the one with the sword. Give me 1 second, y'all, because I want to make sure. There we go. There is Lady Justice. So, of course, I found it on Amazon because Amazon got everything. I'm going to share my screen with y'all real quick because I want to show y'all this. Share screen. Let me get a tab. There we go. So I'm just going to show y'all this real quick and hopefully you can see it. So this woman is the image of Libra. There's multiple images of Libra. A lot of times you'll see Libra represented as just the scales, but when you look at the full image of Libra, it's actually a woman, and she is holding the scales in one hand. In the other hand, she's holding a sword, and in the other hand, and she's also blindfolded. So I just want to give y'all a second to just look at that. And then we're kind of going to dive into that a little bit later. I'm going to talk about a couple of other things first, but I really wanted to just give you that imagery of balance. Libra representing the female concept of balance. And again, she is holding the scale in one hand, she's holding a sword in the other hand, and she is also blindfolded. And in most pictures, she's also kneeling as if she is giving an offering. So just want you to look at that. I'll bring that back a little bit later on, but I'm going to take it out of the stream for now. Wanting you to just think about that concept as I'm talking, and then we're going to come back, and y'all know me, I'm going to break it all the way down for you. I'm going to break it all the way down. So first, I just want to talk about my journey with balance. It has been tumultuous, to say the least, because I remember when I first started Brown Mamas, what keeps coming back to me consistently just right now in my life is that I was so young when I started Brown Mamas. I was actually only 29 years old when I started Brown Mamas. I am 40 years old now. And so most of my 30s I spent trying to figure out what this business was going to be all about, throwing stuff up against the wall, not necessarily knowing. Again, I've shared multiple times that I am a first generation entrepreneur. I'd never seen an entrepreneur before. I never knew what that looked like. I just knew that I could not work for nobody. And so I needed to start something of my own. And so a lot of my 30s, I spent really just trying to figure out what the hell I was doing for real. All of my 30s, not even a lot of it, all of it. And so I remember at one point, I was probably like 33, maybe even 34, thinking like, this is overwhelming. This is a lot. How can I find balance? And I just remember thinking to myself, there is no way possible. Excuse me. There is no way possible for me to find balance doing this. Like something always needed me. That's what I felt like. Like if I wasn't neglecting my family, I was neglecting the business. If I wasn't neglecting the business, I was neglecting my family. If I wasn't neglecting my family, I was neglecting my friends. If I wasn't neglecting my friends, I was neglecting myself. Like I just felt like there was always something sitting and waiting at a deficit. And I had that feeling probably up until last year. Up until last year was when I really realized, like, at the beginning of last year, I had so many things happening to me that I really had to come back to myself and realize that I was capable of having balance. But what had happened was a lot of shit had gotten out of check. Like I wasn't checking stuff. Stuff was just doing what it wanted to do. And I was just following stuff instead of following me, instead of coming back to the rhythm of my life, understanding my soul's contract, and then moving in accordance with it. So most of my 30s was really spent me really thinking that I could be a center. I would always say, I don't believe in balance. I believe in being centered. And being centered means that something will always have to be off balance. But now I'm realizing that was a lie I told myself. That was a lie I told myself because I didn't want to really be disciplined, because I didn't want to make a choice and a decision. Because when you make a decision, you have to follow through with that decision, because your mind is going to constantly tell you you've made a decision. But when you neglect to make those decisions, you can be a little bit more fluid with things. You can let some things fall to the wayside with the excuse that I'm centered. I am centered. Everything is not perfect, but I'm going to be okay. And that's the reality sometimes. Everything is not perfect, but you're going to be okay. But that's because you don't want to make a decision. Because when you make a decision, it has parameters. and it's going to require you to follow through, or you are going to default on the decision. So now in my 40s, I've had this realization that I do have the capability of being balanced in my interactions with my business, with my family, with my friends. I can handle more than one thing at a time, but there's some rules to this. And the rules part, the rules part is what the 30-year-old mind sometimes just doesn't want to deal with. Because the 30-year-old mind oftentimes enjoys the ability to not choose. So we're going to come back to this whole concept of Libra, and Libra as the balancing factor, Libra as representative of the archetype of balance. And so I want to come back to this because what really struck me about this figure was what is in her hands and how she is choosing to offer herself to the world, considering the scales, the blindfold, and the sword. To me, when I look at the concept of Libra, I'm going to bring her back up real quick for y'all so that just in case you're just now joining, hey, you can see what we're talking about. So again, like I said, when I started, right now I'm studying, I'm pretty much a numerology expert, and I'm trying to add astrology as one of the things that I utilize as a way to recognize the signs and symbols of my life. And so I'm learning astrology right now. So when I start thinking about the concept of balance, I wanted to find out within the zodiac, within the signs that exist, which one of them is most aligned with the concept of balance. And Libra was what came. If you know anything about a Libra, Libras are very diplomatic people. They are oftentimes the life of the party, mostly because they know how to get along with everybody. They can read people very well. They are really good at seeing contrast, juxtapositions, understanding, again, going back to that concept of choices, black and white, understanding the black and white of situations and really deducing down to a common factor. They're also really good at being alone. As much as they are diplomatic, they understand themselves oftentimes as the other. They understand themselves as being someone, because they are so diplomatic, so congenial, so able to get along. They understand themselves as being separate to an extent, because not everybody can do that. Not every sign of the zodiac is able to be diplomatic. So I want to talk about a little bit about why the Libra is so definitive of the concept of balance. And I think it's because she's earned balance. She's basically given herself a choice. And one of the choices she has, one of the things that she has chosen is to be blindfolded to many things in the world. She understands who she is. And so for that reason, she can choose what she sees. She chooses to see things as this or that. And she also chooses to seek justice and balance at any expense, as evidenced by the sword. When I look at this picture, what I really see is somebody who is not only offering, but is saying, come hither. That's what I see. I see her as saying, come on, you can come over here, because she is so staunch in who she is. She has such a great understanding of who she is as a woman and as a person, that she can be blindfolded. And with this sense of who she is, she understands balance. She understands her own ability to cut shit off. Libra is not afraid to cut somebody off. That's why she got the sword, and she's offering you to come over here. She's like, you can come over into my space if you want, but if you bring unbalanced energy, this sword that I have down at she has it down at her waist, as if to say, I'm not threatening you. I'm just allowing you to know what you can do and cannot do in my space. And what I love about the Libra is that she knows she has equitable balance of all the parts of her life, because she makes a conscious choice every day to prioritize life activities that are really based on her life contract. And there are so many of us sisters out here who are walking around who don't understand our life contract. That was something that I had gotten away from, I would say, in my mid-30s, was I started studying numerology I probably started studying numerology when I was like 35, and it blew my mind away because it really gave me a great estimation of why I am here on this earth. The problem was I wasn't ready to make the choices. So I knew, or I know, should I say, I know what I know why I'm here on this earth. I know why God has put me here. I know why source energy has decided to operate through me in the way that it is decided to operate through me. But I wasn't ready to make the choices to cut off the things that were not for me, that were not serving me. And Libra is the exact opposite. She understands balance. She understands justice, and not justice from an external perspective, but she understands justice from an internal perspective. Self-justice, self-trust. She has enough trust in herself to do what is equitable for herself, that she can see the world the way she needs to see it. She doesn't need to use the lens of other people. And oftentimes when we're thinking about balance, we are so afraid of other people's estimations of us, of other people's ideas of us, that we are not walking in balance because we are afraid to cut stuff off. And we're afraid to see ourselves. We're afraid we are seeing ourselves through other people's lenses. When you don't have the sword of internal trust, which means you'll cut something off because it violates your internal sense of justice. When you don't have that, there's a couple of different traps that you'll fall into. And I'm want to talk about some of those traps. But the first thing I want to say is that when you trust yourself, you have a clear understanding of the vision and plan that aligns with your most highest self. That is your life contract. And once you know it, you stick to it, period. So you can have balance because you know how much time you need with your parents. And you're like, okay, I'm going to stick to that. I need this much time with my parents for me to feel good and for them to feel good. I need to do this with my children every week for me to feel good and for them to do good. These are the tasks that I need to do in my business that is aligned with my soul's contract. You don't have a problem with balance when you know your soul's contract and you trust yourself. So a lot of mompreneurs end up getting stuck in these traps. They get stuck in the FOMO trap. Everybody knows the FOMO trap, the fear of missing out, because you're looking at your life through the lenses of other people instead of understanding and trusting your internal justice system. The people-pleasing trap. We want to please other people. We're afraid of the emotions that come with not pleasing other people. We are afraid of the emotions that come with not pleasing other people. So what do? We slowly allow other people to infringe on our life contract. We allow their vision for our lives to become our vision for our lives. We get stuck in the visionary trap. The visionary trap is when you don't include yourself in your vision of what you're supposed to be doing, because you're so focused on everybody else. And again, that goes back to that internal sword of justice. Where's your sword at, sis? When is enough enough? Do you know that? Some of us are allowing friends and family members to keep us from doing the things we want to do in our career because we don't know when to cut them off. We don't know when to say enough is enough. We don't know how to put ourselves in our vision for our families and our friends and our businesses, our careers. So we let everything run around. People get stuck there really easily. I call it the visionary trap, because I know I've been in the visionary trap many times where I've not envisioned myself as a part of whatever task I'm doing. So I get stuck as the worker bee of it because I don't see myself as part of it, because I've betrayed my own internal sense of justice. Then some people get stuck in the money trap. The money trap is when you're just doing all the things to make money. One of the best pieces of advice I've ever been given is, and I think it's from the Bible, I'm pretty sure it's from the Bible, but I've heard so many people say it that it could be misquoted. Let your yes be yes and your no be no. What do you do in your business? What do you not do in your business? Stop doing the stuff that you don't do and do the stuff that you do and watch more money come to you as a result of the things that are in alignment with your soul's contract. So at the end of the day, when we're looking at the Libra, when we're understanding what it means to have an internal justice system, when we're understanding what it means to hold those scales, to be balanced, to be balanced with a sword. It's really about having a disciplined mind. Some of us are letting our mind take it. Your mind wants to do this, so you go do it. Your mind wants to do that, so you go do it. You're not checking for your body. You're not checking for your soul. You're not checking for your heart because you're so busy letting your mind run amok. The mind is not the most important part of you. When you do a task, you should ask yourself, does this feed my soul? How can this be a conduit for me opening my heart? How can my body be physically ready to engage in this task? Whether it is drinking some water, whether it is doing an exercise in the morning, whether it's some yoga or meditation or whatever you need to do to clear your mind. Because a lot of times we don't realize that our mind will trap us with unbalanced activities because we're failing to feed our souls, nourish our bodies, and open our hearts. So it's not that you can't have balance, it's that your mind is undisciplined. And you're not operating on a true understanding of yourself. Sis, when was the last time you sat with yourself? And I'm not talking about sit with yourself long enough to know all your problems. I'm talking about sit with yourself long enough to tell yourself the truth about your life and who you are and what you want. So many of us are operating on an outdated version of ourselves. And because we're operating on an outdated version of ourselves, we don't have an internal justice system that allows us to have balance. And the internal justice system at every turn seeks to please all of you because you are a total human. You're not half a human. You're not a mind human. You're not a soul human. You're not a heart human. You are a whole human. There are parts of you that you need to seek out and understand in order to be a balanced individual. And you can't do that if you let one part of you run all of you. You can't do that if you let people outside of you run you. You have to run you. And the other thing that I really want to point out about the Libra is the blindfold. It took me a minute looking at that to really understand why she has that blindfold on. And I think what it is faith. It's knowing whose you are. And I'm not talking about Christianity. I'm talking, or any man-made religion for that. It's recognizing that you are a part of the Most High, the Creator, the Supreme God, whomever and whatever religion or doctrine you choose is up to you. But we all know we are creatives. We are not creators. We create things. Women can even have babies, but we are not Most High creators. And so knowing that, you have to understand that there's always going to be something you don't know. And so what the Libra understands is that she can have faith because she knows what she knows and she's cool with what she don't know. There are so many things that, like I said last week in my video, there are so many things that have happened as a part of my business that were just things that popped out of the blue. And I know it wasn't nothing but God. And now when I think back on my 30s, not that I regret any of it because my 30s were my 30s. Had I only just laid back and relaxed in those moments, had I only just really fully understood that I was being divinely protected in those moments, I would have worked so much less. I would have given myself so much more grace. I would have caused myself so many less sleepless nights. But oftentimes we are trying to control, not realizing how that is keeping us unbalanced. How we are trying to play God in our own lives, not realizing you can understand the rhythms of your life. You can see the signs and symbols of your life. They can be clear and potent to you, but that don't mean you God. That does not mean that you're God. And that also does not mean that you can operate without faith. You still need faith. Whether you see life in black and white or not, and able to make good decisions, there's always going to be something in between that you just don't understand. And you have to be able to have faith that everything is working for you, not against you. So all of these things are cyclical. You have to have internal trust to be able to rest in the unknown, or else you'll always fall into a trap of being unbalanced. Because what we have to really understand about developing faith as a mompreneur is that so much of it is just about surrendering and listening. Surrendering to what you don't know and listening for the answer so that you can find out. But you have to make that time in your schedule. You have to make a conscious decision to take care of yourself, because you can't hear yourself. You can't see. One of the most beautiful things that happened to me last year was, as a result of just taking some time that I needed, was I started to have very vivid visions of my life, of what was next for me. And those allowed me to have a degree of joy that I didn't want to give away no more. And when you have joy, you don't want to give that away. You won't give that away. So you will show up with your scale and your sword. But you have to take the time to surrender to the Most High. Surrender. Just understand, I don't know everything. Surrender when it don't feel right. Surrender when you don't know what to do. And then just listen. God is always speaking. Always. Some people say God's not speaking to me. God's speaking to you. You're not in the frequency to listen. You just have to be in the frequency. When you get into the frequency, when you understand your life's contract, this is why I love numerology, because it's all about vibrations. It's about understanding the frequency and the vibration that you exist upon. And once you understand that, you can get into alignment. So what I'm really hoping that you got or are getting from this conversation is that you don't have to be unbalanced in your journey. Whether you're just on a journey of motherhood, or whether you're on a journey of mompreneurship, or whether you're navigating both, which most of us are, you just have to invest in yourself. You have to invest in getting to know your internal justice system. You have to invest in getting to know your Most High, your sacred, divine, unknown being. You have to invest in listening and allowing those two entities to play together. Because your soul and your heart and your mind and your body yearns for a relationship with its creator. And when you are out of alignment with that, you are essentially, you're unbalanced. And you can't get into balance when that happens. So just remembering that. So right now, just to, talk about my own journey, right now, the space where I'm in is I'm working on disciplining my mind so that it doesn't run amok, but so that it is also fed, because I'm an intellectual. I love to know things. So I have to take out time to study, because that feeds me intellectually and it stops my curiosity from killing me, quite honestly. But also just getting in touch with my heart and my body and my soul. What I'm doing right here, this is my soul work. I'm a speaker and I'm a writer, and I'm damn good at it. And this is what feeds my soul. So that's why I decided to do this, because not for anybody else, but because I love to teach. I'm a scribe. That is a part of my numerological makeup, is to be a scribe. So what's your life contract, sis? Do you know? If you don't, you need to figure that out before you make another move, because that will give you the courage and also the wonder to want to know more and to seek out more. So I want to definitely invite you to do something with me. because I recognize that a lot of the people who are watching this are probably stressed. You probably need some time to just release some things. I know when I first realized that I needed some time, um, there were definitely a lot of tears involved. Like I needed some time to just cry. I needed a space to make space for myself to feel again, to get balanced again. And that for me, it started with feeling. So I want to invite you to do a 10-minute emotional release with me. There's a link somewhere. Find it in the comments, in the caption, wherever it's located at. And do that 10-minute emotional release. And you can do that as often as you need to, because you need to. Because a lot of times we're walking around in life and we're not feeling. And we mistake what we're thinking for what we're feeling. But as females, as women, as divine balancing energies on this earth, we need to feel. A lot of times people will come to me and they'll say, "Oh, I think I'm an empath." Everybody's an empath. We are humans. Humans feel other humans. Some people hold those feelings in their bodies. Some people hold those feelings in their minds. Some people hold them in their hearts. Other people cherish them with their souls. But everybody's an empath. This ain't nothing special. It's when you shut off your empathy that something is special, because you're not feeling. Humans feel other humans, and in different and varying degrees and ways. But if you're walking around right now and you're not feeling, that's why you're not balanced, because you're not allowing all parts of you to take up space. So again, 10-minute emotional release. Find the link. It's somewhere. Wherever you're watching me at, it's somewhere. And I look forward to continuing to have these conversations. I look forward to helping Black women, Black mompreneurs in particular. But if you beige, I guess I work with you too. Get to a place of peaceful profitability. Because if it's nothing else that I've learned, is that profitability alone will not make you happy. You have to be peaceful too. But it's not hard. It's really not hard. It's just about priorities. And sometimes it can be difficult to make what you think should be easy a priority. So I'm really excited to continue this. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. Thank you, Kidsburg, for sponsoring. I should probably put up. Wait. Let me do something special for them. I'm gonna put their little banner up here. Just in case y'all want to know more about them. Please go to their website. There we go. Let's see if it come up. Show it. There it goes. Go to their website at kidsburg.org if you're looking for stuff to do with your kids in Pittsburgh. But thank y'all so much for tuning in. I will see y'all next Monday at 12 o'clock p.m. What are we talking about next week? Let me see. I think we are talking, next week is going to be really good. Next week, we are talking about manifesting. Oh, yeah, that's going to be a good one. We're going to be talking about the 4 ways that moms manifest. And of course, we'll be talking about it. Mompreneurship, 4 ways that mompreneurs manifest. So I'm really excited about that conversation. But all right, y'all, have a great week and happy MLK Day. Peace.